we're going to talk deadlifting, you have to remember that your shoulder blades or your scapula play a very large role on the back of your rib cage in actually stabilizing the shoulder joint, but also influencing some of your intra-abdominal pressure by co-contracting with your lats. So in the deadlift, it's sometimes misunderstood how to actually cue the shoulder blades in order to generate stability. So a lot of coaches will cue lifters to retract their shoulder blades or even at lockout to roll their shoulder blades back. And that can actually generate a number of issues. And the first one being, when you're actually down at the bar, you have to remember that scapular retraction, or telling someone to pull their shoulder blades back, is actually making the lift harder in terms of its increasing the range of motion that's required for the lift. So if we think about it from a biomechanics standpoint, in order to drop my arms down to the bar, I can make my arm longest by protracting or allowing my shoulder blade to come around my rib cage as such. Now, if I were to have to reach the bar, but I was trying to retract my shoulder blade on my rib cage there, I would then have to drop my hips even lower to get down to the bar, versus if I'm here and I protract, now my hips can be in a higher starting position and I don't have to increase the range of motion as much. Not only that, we have to remember that protraction of the shoulder blade can influence extension or flexion of the thoracic spine. Now this can become important in that in the bottom of a deadlift, we want to make sure that we have good apical expansion, both from the diaphragm, but also from the upper chest as well. So if we're only focused on retraction here, what you're actually going to find is that when those shoulder blades retract, you are closing down an area of your lungs called your posterior mediastinum. And that's just the area behind your heart, but it's kind of, if you look at the logo on a shirt, it would be kind of right in between those shoulder blades. And that's going to be one of the main areas that we need to inflate, especially to stabilize the shoulder blade on the rib cage. So what happens is that anytime you're trying to go into scapular retraction, you also may have to fight against thoracic extension. So thoracic extension at your upper back is there. And so when we go into that extended position, if I stand up out of it, then when I'm trying to take air in, what you're going to find is that as soon as you breathe in, the air is going to drive out into your anterior in the front, mediastinum, and the posterior stays deflated. So adding that protraction, reaching forward, is going to help to get more flexion within your upper back, your thoracic spine, and allow you to inflate that posterior mediastinum. It just gives you a better breath, and then from that subsequent breath, you'll be able to generate more intra-abdominal pressure and stabilize the spine globally, lumbar, thoracic together. Now the second part, which becomes an issue, is retraction at lockout, or trying to roll your shoulder blades back at lockout. As I discussed before, a lot of times when you get retraction, that's coupled with thoracic extension. And in the case of a deadlift, if we're locking out, when we get to the top, if we go into that retracted and extended position, what you may find is that you'll feel kind of the bottom of your rib cage start to pop up as you get into this more extended position. What's happening is you're actually extending at your TL junction, right where your thoracic spine meets your lumbar spine. Again, it's not a huge issue, just body weight, but when you start to load the bar with a significant amount of weight and you place more of that weight upon the spine, whether it be axially in a squat or within a deadlift, then extending or hyperextending at lockout can become an even bigger issue. We know that we have to keep the lats cued and turned on with the deadlift to pull the bar into the body through the entirety of the lift. So they're really going to be our main stabilizers within this lift, and you don't necessarily have to think so much about the shoulder blades. Just remember, in the bottom, don't worry about retraction. A little bit of protraction may actually be better when you're trying to get your breath. So once I'm down at the bar and I'm here, I can actually think about pushing the bar away. So if I'm normally here, push the bar away a little bit, then take my breath. You'll see my upper back will inflate. Get my position at the bar. And then to pull, your lockout position should resemble your standing posture. So no excess deviation, leaning back, or trying to roll the shoulder blades back somehow. Just your normal standing posture. You should feel your lats turned on, pulling the bar into your body. Your glutes should be active, trying to almost drive the hips into the bar to finish the lift, and stand tall. Couple of different cues there. Try them out. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think.